You're watching F5. We are at Mobile World Congress 2024 in Barcelona, Spain. Super excited to be here. Huge crowd. You can't actually see behind us here, but there's a ton of people. I think 93,000 people is the estimated attendees. So awesome. Kara, you've been on with me a couple times at this point. You're a DevCentral veteran at this point, so thank you for joining me. For the folks who haven't seen you on DevCentral before, though, maybe we'll get you to introduce yourself. I'm sorry. I said maybe we'll get you to introduce yourself.
Okay, sorry.
Cut. Okay, we'll try that again. Kara, for the folks who haven't seen you on here before, can we get you to introduce yourself?
Sure, Boo. Thanks for having me again. I am the Chief Product Officer at F5, so I am responsible for F5's entire portfolio of solutions.
Fantastic. Part of that portfolio is service provider. A part of our business that not everybody knows about. Everybody knows for sure about our enterprise play, our security plays, but when it comes to service provider, this is a huge presence for F5, so maybe you can tell us about that service provider portfolio.
So service provider has always been a very important part of F5's overall business. We, on a typical quarter, about 20% of our business, plus or minus, call it 2 or 3%, is service provider. So that's products that are sold into service providers, which could be either like mobile telcos or a fixed wireline type of play, like cable providers. They are buying from F5 in a couple of areas. So number one, service providers have enterprise IT as well. And so much as we sell into large enterprises, solutions for their load balancing and security and other application delivery needs, we sell into service providers for those. But then also we have a very special portfolio of solutions that get deployed directly into service providers' core networks. So for example, many of the world's population is using a mobile service that is in some way running on F5 technology.
Wow. So we talk about like how much internet traffic runs through F5. Do we count that number? Because that sounds like an even bigger number at that point.
I have not seen us count that number.
Yeah. Okay. We should actually. Let's get the bean counters on that one. We got a lot of traffic running through F5s. Super cool. So we're a couple days into Mobile World Congress at this point. You've had some customer meetings. This is all about the meetings. We've got this wonderful booth that has meeting space upstairs as well as meeting space outside of this area as well. What are people saying when you're conversing with them?
So we're having a number of different conversations. In many cases, we're meeting with service provider customers and talking to them about how do we expand what F5 does for them. So just got out of one. It's a service provider that's based in Mexico, talking about how do we expand from doing more ADC-specific things, like they really think about us as a load balancing company, but really trying to open their eyes to we are a security provider, broad solutions in the service provider space, including CGNAT. So having those kinds of eye-opening conversations with them. And in that case, it's also fun to share with them our broader portfolio, so go into NGINX and distributed cloud. I'm also having a number of other meetings with service provider ecosystem partners. So think about the chip vendors. You see a lot of them here. You see Intel here, NVIDIA's here, AMD is here, ARM is here, and having conversations with them about what they are seeing from their own service provider customers in terms of the unique needs for hardware acceleration.
Awesome. We just chatted with ARM a little bit earlier, so plug for that video. Make sure you watch for that. Joel and Paul Pindell are going to be super excited when they see that one. But we have a DPU here, and that was in the video, so pretty excited about that. You've also had a chance to walk around, got to see some cool stuff. It's not just all about networking equipment here. There's a lot of really cool consumerish type stuff. Maybe you can tell us about your highlights.
Yeah, so one I noticed is there are actually a lot of device manufacturers, like they make phones and tablets that I had never heard of. So Honor is one, they have a massive booth set up. And there's a number across the different expo floors. Mobile World Congress is the largest conference I've ever been to. There's 7 expo floors. Other really cool things, there are robots that are wandering around, and so humanoid robots. There's also a number of robot dogs from different providers. Those are AI powered, so they're smarter than your average dog. And then other things that I've seen on the floor, a number of service providers targeting more their consumer audiences have these very elaborate VR gaming arenas set up. So it's actually pretty interesting. There's a lot of interesting use cases that we're seeing for the connectivity solutions that we provide. And it's always energizing just to see the creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, sometimes I see these things, I'm like, what problem are you trying to solve with a AI dog?
There's nothing to clean up.
Absolutely. And actually, like, some people pride themselves in their dog training abilities. It's like, oh, it's already trained, so you get to do all the fun stuff with it. Very cool. Okay, maybe I'll hit you with a couple questions here. Fun questions. AI pets, AI dog or AI cat?
Dog, definitely.
Okay, cool. Reason?
I grew up with dogs. I love dogs. Dogs love humans. Cats, you never know if they actually love you.
Fair enough. Good point. Yeah. Okay. We've seen a lot of different mobile phones around here. All of them Android, though. For Kara, iPhone or Android?
I'm an iPhone user. However, I will say the most recent Samsung phones are, with the AI capabilities they've built in, are very, very compelling. And the cameras seem far superior, so I might be making the switch soon.
Really? Have you seen the folding one with
Yes.
Honor?
Yes, I have seen the folding phones, and Samsung actually has its own model for that. That one I think is also interesting, but there's so many form factors now where you don't use the folding. So for example, putting it in your car for heads-up display when you're driving, where do you put the magnet on the foldable phones? Different things of carrying solutions. So I bought a purse that actually specifically holds my phone, which is the right form factor. So there's a lot of parts around the ecosystem that conform to the existing form factor.
Totally. Yeah, speaking of form factor, like we're in Europe where they kind of forced Apple's hand towards USB-C. So, having that form factor be extendable across so people don't have to keep rebuying things, super cool. Okay, another question for you, because I've seen this. Flying car or flying helicopter?
Definitely helicopter.
Yeah.
So I have a personal passion for helicopters. It's something I worked on in my thesis at MIT. So I find them very interesting just in terms of the number of degrees of motion, and the challenge of actually flying one is really, really interesting.
Yeah, cool. Did you see the one at SK Telecom?
Yeah, I saw that one over there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool stuff. All right, awesome. Well, thank you for the rapid fire questions there, Kara.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to share with the audience about your time at Mobile World Congress?
No, it's just really fun to get back and have so many, first of all, see so many colleagues from around the world come in and meet them in person, but also customers. I mean, this is a fantastic event. It's the who's who in the service provider space and service provider ecosystem. So it's just been very, very valuable to have a bunch of opportunities to meet with folks.
Absolutely. I could tell by your schedule because your schedule is very packed, so I'm very fortunate to get some time with you. So thank you, Kara, for that. Thank you, audience, for checking this out. You can follow along on LinkedIn, on X, and on YouTube. And otherwise, please make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.